Hi everybody, it's Mr. D and In the Middle with Mr. D1 at blogspot.com with teaching tips for Milestone. It's a lesson 18 of my sight singing program S Cubed. It's available on Teachers Pay Teachers at Music in the Middle with Mr. D. Now we're calling it Milestone obviously because this is a very big moment in this process of teaching beginners to sight sing successfully. One of the reasons I developed this program is because in the early years of looking for a program that worked with this age group, I noticed so many steps were skipped in the teaching process. I would get frustrated, the kids would get frustrated. It was way too fast. And the example that I'm going to use today with the kids is typical of the examples I would see in early days of the teaching process and other sight singing programs. So it's taken me 18 weeks to get here with my beginners, but it's worth it because we built a very strong foundation on our way, and so they should be able to be successful. But today is about waking them up. It's a really important moment. They're not going to sight sing today. They're just going to look, and we're going to talk. We're going to do some rhythm and all the things that we normally do in our sight singing, but we're going to look at it, we're going to evaluate it, and we're going to talk about it. So the first thing they're going to do is sit down and look at that example, and they're going to decide why it's going to be more challenging than all of the other examples that they've had. So that is I'm going to give them about 2 minutes to just look at it, and hopefully some child will come up with the correct answer. A combination of skips and steps is going to be tricky. And then I'm going to go right to the next slide, which is in the lesson for you. And I've listed in that slide some of the reasons that it's going to be challenging for them. And we're going to just kind of sit in that for a minute and let them imagine if they had to sing that right now, that example, which is a little too difficult for them in this moment. But I want to drive home the point. And I made the rhythms really simple so they wouldn't get bogged down and, oh, this is going to be hard because of rhythms, or this is going to be hard because of key signature. I kept the key signature easy as well. So then we're going to look at the bottom of the slide, and it says to go back to the previous slide and decide where the skips and steps are located. So I'm going to ask individual students. I'm going to point to 2 notes. Is it a skip or a step? And let them go really slowly through. And then I'm going to go back one more time and ask them to name the notes using solfege, do, re, mi, or whatever. And what we may have happen today is that from do to mi, a child may say do to re. Those are common mistakes. On the big skips, they're going to see the skip, but they're going to be a little slow in that process. And then I'm going to look at the clock and I'm going to say, okay, well that took us 4 minutes to name where the skips and steps are and to name the actual notes. And we have to be able to do that in split seconds of time. And that's hopefully going to wake them up. I want to stress them a little bit, but not too much, just enough so that they realize, okay, I really got to pay attention when I'm looking at these notes so I can get the correct name and I can find the correct pitch and all the things that are listed on the slide that I'm calling explanation slide. It just kind of tells you the things that are going to be challenging for them. Then we're going to just jump out of that and go right to group rhythm. It's 2-part again. It's 3-4. We're noticing things, simple things. I like to, after they've had a stressful moment, go right into something pretty easy. This will be pretty easy for them. They'll notice where the unison rhythms are. They will. I'm always telling them to emphasize beat 1 on 3-4. It's something I always do the entire year, really, for 3 years, 6th through 8th grade. And then we're going to go into our game, Forbidden Pattern. They're going to have combination of skips and steps today. All of it. I will be doing things like do, mi, fa, do, mi, re, and emphasizing to them the importance of, now that we're combining skips and steps, of showing the actual hand positions as accurately as possible so they can be more likely to get the correct pitch when they need it. And then after that, we're going to do a long series, I say long, 90 seconds-ish of follow the hand. And I'm combining skips and steps. I'm going to give them lots of time on each note, so if they do miss it, they have time to adjust their pitch and adjust their hands, and I can talk to them about that as well. We're laying the foundation for the day at the end of this lesson period, which is a 3-day lesson period, where they actually have to sing an example that uses skips and steps. We want to just make sure that all of the foundation is solidly down so that we can have a great end to lesson 18 and they can be happy and they know they can do it successfully. That's our goal. And then after that, we're going to do our ear training, chromatic scale, same as lesson 17, where but I'm going to guide them a lot. They got a 9 on the ascending scale yesterday in their scoring of the scale, and a 9.7 on the descent. So I'm going to find the little spots where they're missing a little bit. I'm going to sing an example of what I heard them missing. They're going to tell me oh, you were a little out of tune on saw on the descent. I'm going to do some refining. That's it. Just getting their ears as awake as possible so that they are very good in that ear training, especially on do, D, on the ascent, as I mentioned in lesson 17, and do, ti, te. That's where the mistakes are most often made. So that's what's going to happen in lesson 1, milestone of lesson 18. So have a great day, and check out all the lessons on Teachers Pay Teachers at Music in the Middle with Mr. D.